How was your drive here?
Oh, it was great, living 5 minutes away.
I beat you here so bad.
Well, that's because I was going to pick up my neighbor's sheets, but then he decided to drive here by himself too.
Yeah, I made sure I accelerated super fast so I burned all the gas possible.
I made sure my car failed the emissions test twice.
Dude, I was so happy after we did that gallon challenge.
Not as happy as I was after I ate a dozen eggs.
I love Coke. Coke is so good.
Not as much as I love orange juice.
My mom ran out of soap this morning, so she told me to get rid of it.
I used this to shower with.
These sunglasses suck.
Oh, so good. I made lemonade today.
School's out!
Yeah. There's trash in there too.
Nice.
What a tragedy. Tragedy of the commons has been a serious issue since the beginning of man.
But it first came to the public's eye when Garrett Hardin wrote about it in 1968 in his paper, Tragedy of the Commons. A prime example of Tragedy of the Commons is the Pacific Garbage Patch. It's over 4 million square miles, and it's still growing.
Hardin's paper summarizes that humans have a tendency to take communal spaces which no one's owned and take advantage of it for their own good.
This is also described in his paper when he talks about human population and how it's growing exponentially. This also is saying that because our population is growing, the pollution and emissions from us and our production will also exponentially grow.
Here's some examples.
This is Earth. Humans have been slowly advancing until they have reached exponential population and industrial growth. This jump, or the Industrial Revolution, has skyrocketed the use of fossil fuels and their emissions, also increasing their impact to the environment. Now, let's look at one of the earliest forms of human tragedy of the commons. Let's use this as an example. 4 farmers live on the same land, sharing the same field together. The field can actively sustain 8 cows without damaging the ecosystem, naturally thinking each farmer could get 2 cows to put on their land. Seeing that just 1 additional cow won't affect the ecosystem, one of the farmers just adds 1 singular extra cow. Seeing these additional profits and minimal damage to the ecosystem, each farmer would add 1 more cow, thinking that they would not damage the ecosystem or their financial stability. What they don't realize is that they just raised the total population of their cows on their shared field by 50% by each only adding 1 cow. This ecosystem's natural capacity has, as you can see, risen 50%, and this will devastate the surrounding environment and will limit the farmers' productivity and equality of their products. Now, time to bring this tragedy to modern day. Tragedy of the commons can be displayed throughout both environmental and technological problems throughout history. It's not just an age-old tale. For instance, here at Cedarburg High School, students and staff experience congestion with the communal Wi-Fi. The school only has so much bandwidth to be shared with the students and faculty. Anyone that commonly uses the internet has experienced buffering issues, and internet problems that is due to excessive bandwidth use by people who take advantage or abuse the free Wi-Fi. This limits the productivity and opportunity for students trying to do their schoolwork or teachers using visual aids. Let's make a scenario showing this. A classroom filled with 10 students, using computers of course, is allowed 10 bits per second of bandwidth use for the entire class, giving each student a limit of 1 bit per second. This limit can be easily exceeded by abusing the internet and with downloads of online videos or games used by these students. Students can also use this by limiting others of using the computers and slowing down the internet or even blocking the connection completely by obsessive bandwidth use. Alright, so tragedy of the commons is a very important issue that we need to address. It's where something so small, but everyone does it, it just stockpiles on top of itself. Well, let's see, if we have one insignificant water bottle, it weighs only 18.9 grams, but together, it can make a devastating effect.
For instance, if every person in the world, that's 7 billion people, all picked up one water bottle, it would weigh as much as 81,066 F-150s.
But what would happen if everyone recycled everything, including water bottles?
If everyone in the United States alone recycled all of their recyclable trash, instead of just a few plastics and a little bit of paper, it would weigh as much as 747 Boeing 747 jets. That's a lot of trash.
So, tragedy of the commons seems like such a huge thing that by ourselves seems impossible to do. But if we all work together, we can make it so that we can reverse tragedy of the commons into benefit of the commons. And here are some things that you can do to help make that happen.
Don't do this. Do this.
Don't do this.
Bye, Mom. I'm going to a friend's house. I'll see you later.
Do this. Ride your bike.
Turn the water off when you're brushing your teeth. Turn off lights when you're not in the room. With your cell phone charger, take it out of the socket and leave it out for the rest of the day. As you can see, tragedy of the commons is a very serious issue that we all face. But if we each do our part together, one step at a time, we can reverse tragedy of the commons and turn it into benefit of the commons.